begins with silence, a silence so deep it feels alive, pressing against your chest, swallowing every breath. 2 years have passed since the Titan submersible imploded beneath the Atlantic Ocean, taking 5 souls into the crushing darkness. Yet, the story refuses to rest. When the official investigation report finally surfaced, it didn't just bring closure, it tore open everything we thought we knew. The truth, buried under thousands of meters of pressure, was far darker than anyone imagined. This wasn't fate. It wasn't bad luck. It was a tragedy born from arrogance disguised as innovation, ambition tangled with denial. The Titan was supposed to be a triumph of technology. Instead, it became a monument to human overconfidence, a chilling reminder of what happens when we refuse to listen to the warnings all around us. Our story begins in 2018 with Stockton Rush, the CEO of Ocean. He had a dream that was both noble and dangerous. He wanted to make deep-sea exploration accessible not just for scientists or billionaires, but for anyone who dared to look beneath the waves. His ultimate goal was to reach the legendary wreck of the Titanic, to prove that adventure could be OceanGate called it a revolution in exploration. The vessel he designed, the Titan, was small, experimental, and incredibly bold. Its hull was made from carbon fiber and titanium materials that had never been combined for such extreme depths. To Rush, it was a symbol of progress, a way to bypass the slow, expensive traditions of marine engineering. But too many seasoned engineers. It was a ticking time bomb waiting for its turn. The biggest red flag. The Titan was not certified by any recognized marine safety authority. When confronted with this, Rush dismissed the criticism as unnecessary bureaucracy. He claimed that innovation required risk, and that established safety standards were obstacles to progress, not solutions to it. He truly believed he was a visionary, breaking rules to forge a new path. But the ocean does not care about ego or ambition. It doesn't negotiate, and it doesn't forgive. It enforces only one law of physics, and under that law, arrogance pays its debts, and pressure, and steel. Inside OceanGate, the whispers of disaster had already begun. During test dives, faint cracking sounds would echo through the hull. They were tiny groans, soft but deeply ominous, like the strained breath of something alive under immense pressure. Rush, however, brushed them off. That's just the hull settling. It will talk, dismissing the very sounds of his creation crying out for help. But the sea never whispers without reason. One engineer, David Lockridge, refused to stay silent. He wrote formal warnings, laying out the terrifying risks. He revealed that the Titan's viewport, the only window to the deep, was only certified for a depth of 1,300 meters, less than half the depth required to reach the Titanic. He demanded comprehensive pressure tests, redesigns, and proper safety checks. For his trouble, he was fired. With the voice of caution silenced, the company moved on. The marketing machine churned forward, selling tickets for $250,000 a seat. OceanGate promised its customers a journey of a lifetime. And it was, just not in the way anyone expected. With every single dive, the Titan's hull was being systematically weakened. Invisible microfractures were growing like veins of poison through the carbon fiber. The pressure at 3,800 meters. The depth of the Titanic is over 380 times the force at sea level. That is like having the weight of the Eiffel Tower pressing down on every square inch of your body. This kind of force does not tolerate flaws. One mistake, one oversight, and it crushes everything to dust in an instant. The Titan wasn't a deep-sea vessel. It was a fragile experiment being sent into hell, wearing a smile. On June 18, 2023, the Titan began its final dive. The support ship, the Polar Prince, launched the mission at dawn. On board were 5 passengers. Stockton Rush himself, the confident leader of the expedition. British billionaire and adventurer, Hamish Harding. The world-renowned French Titanic expert, Paul Henry, and Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood with his 19-year-old son, Sulman, who was reportedly terrified but went along to please his father. At first, everything seemed normal. The ocean swallowed the sub as it descended through the endless, darkening blue. Then, communication started to falter. At 1 hour and 45 minutes into the dive, as the Titan neared the bottom, contact was lost. The surface crew called, and called again. The only reply was silence. For the next 4 days, the world held its breath. The search for the Titan dominated global headlines. A massive international fleet of planes, ships, and robotic submersibles raced against a ticking clock, all desperately searching for any sign of life in an ocean that gives nothing back. People clung to hope, imagining 5 men waiting in the cold darkness, rationing their dwindling oxygen. But the truth is, they were already gone, long before the news broke, long before the first rescue ship arrived. The Titan had imploded. The end came in an instant, faster than the human brain can process pain. 1 millisecond. A flash of catastrophic failure. Then, nothing. There was no struggle, no screams, no time for fear. Just absolute, crushing silence. When the debris was finally recovered days later, investigators found fragments of the Titan scattered across the seabed. The carbon fiber hull had split apart like wet paper. For the experts, the official report was just a formality. They already knew what had happened. The layers of the hull had slowly delaminated over time, with each dive eating away at its structural integrity. The final descent was simply the moment when physics came to claim its long-overdue debt. 2 years later, the official investigation report confirmed it all in damning detail. Critical design flaws, repeatedly ignored warnings, falsified test data, and a pattern of reckless shortcuts. The Titan wasn't just an accident. It was the inevitable result of a company that truly believed rules were optional. Emails uncovered during the investigation revealed a chilling pattern of denial. Rush and his team had dismissed respected safety experts as fearmongers. One message even mocked conventional testing, stating, "At some point, safety is just a waste. If you want to be safe, stay in bed." That sentence, once a declaration of bold arrogance, now reads like a gravestone. The investigation also highlighted something almost surreal. The Titan was controlled by a video game controller, a wireless Logitech pad. A $30 gadget you could buy online, was steering a multi-million-dollar submersible at the bottom of the ocean. To Stockton Rush, this was the epitome of lean innovation. To the ocean, it was an insult, and the ocean responded in the only language it knows: pressure. The story of the Titan is more than a tale of one man's ambition. It's a profound reflection of human nature, our endless hunger to push boundaries, even when it costs us everything. So many as history's greatest tragedies begin with the same simple phrase: "It'll all be fine." The Challenger disaster, Chernobyl, Deepwater Horizon, and now Titan. Different places, different eras, but the same deadly cocktail of pride, denial, and a misplaced faith in our own control. We forget that nature doesn't care how intelligent we are. The sea doesn't care how rich or visionary we claim to be. At 3,800 meters down, there is no vision. There is only survival or failure. The Titan wasn't destroyed by the ocean. It was destroyed by human overconfidence. The pressure that killed those 5 men wasn't just on the outside of the HULL. It was in CD. The pressure to be first, to be bold, to be remembered. But the ocean doesn't remember our names. It only keeps our wrecks. It buries our pride under layers of cold, unforgiving silence. Stockton Rush wanted to touch history. Instead, he became a part of it, another ghost in the deep. Today, the remains of the Titan rest beside the Titanic. 2 stories of human ambition sharing the same watery grave. One sank in 1912, a symbol of industrial arrogance. The other imploded in 2023, a warning from the future. Both serve as monuments to the same lesson, paid for at the same price. For the explorers who still dream of reaching the ocean's depths, the lesson isn't to stop dreaming. It's to remember the cost of forgetting respect. The ocean is not our enemy, but it demands humility. It demands truth. The Titan's final report wasn't just about a failed submersible. It was a mirror held up to humanity itself. Somewhere down there, 4 kilometers beneath the waves, lies the last piece of the Titan. The water is still, the wreck is silent. But if you listen closely, you can almost hear the whisper of the deep knot, a whisper of fear, but of warning. It says, when you challenge nature, do it with respect, or be prepared to be crushed by your own pride. The ocean is eternal. It waits for no one. And in its silence, it keeps the truth cold, patient, and unchanging. Because no matter how deep we go, or how fast we run, the truth always finds its way to the surface. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. Stay curious and stay safe.